Hey guys, it's Zach back with what turned into my top 10 mice of 2025. This list is full of absolute bangers, and it even includes a couple mice that I have not yet fully reviewed. So I tried to keep those spoilers to a minimum, but I couldn't resist. It's late 2025 and we've reached this weird peak of gaming mice where even a majority of the budget mice that release are just absolutely great, if not perfect. I could easily main any of these mice and be very happy. Let me know your top mice of 2025 in the comments, and without further ado, here we go. Before we jump into the actual top 10 list, let's talk a bit about the criteria that drive a mouse up or down the rankings. Obviously, price and value is a large consideration. There's going to be some personal preference. For example, this OP1 4K wireless V2 does make an appearance on the list because it's my favorite shape, but it might not be for you, and it's one of the more expensive mice on the list. There are some mice I just love using. There are mice that are kind of good, but there's a kind of killer flaw that might not do it for some people. And then there's just like, I made a list, I moved mice up and down, and this is where we landed. So without further ado, into the top 10. Coming in at number 10, we have the WLMouse Beast X Pro. This is the tempered edition from a community art submission. This was the voted winning print. Not my favorite, but I am partial to it because it's limited and I like scarcity. This is the sort of final mouse shape from WLMouse. The arm-on optical version, I would not recommend getting any other version. The arm-on opticals in this mouse feel spectacular, very good in the magnesium shell. Side buttons are super snappy. It's a very comfortable shape, and really the Pro version that dropped in 2025 with the solid sides is what makes this mouse usable and very, very comfortable for me. I think the medium shape is perfect for me. You can also get the Pro in the Mini or the Max. It comes in at $145, which is a strong reason why it's number 10. I also don't love their stock skates for what it's worth, but that's a lesser determining factor for me, as I have 11 billion extra aftermarket skates at my disposal. So this is the most expensive entry on the list. Spoiler, no Logitech, no Razer. And at number 9, we have a Razer Viper V3 clone, the MCHOSE K7 Ultra. This is what I named my top Viper V3 Pro clone, and it is going to be dethroned later in this video by a yet-to-be-reviewed mouse. This is a very good mouse. The coating is awesome. The side buttons, very snappy. I do like the aesthetic, and it was one of their final mice to have arm-on opticals in it, and the implementation here was quite good. Honestly, one of the interesting features is it has a charging base, and without mounting the mouse, as I have not, it's a little bit on the heavier side, around 60 grams, and it is back heavy, something that even I, with my grip that typically neutralizes weight balance issues, did notice. The K7 Ultra does come in around $70 on their site. Use code DAZ for a discount and to support me. But beside that, you want to make sure you get either this version here or the white, not the white gold. Just this and the white have the arm-on opticals. The arm-on 100M implementation in the MCHOSE mice, I am not a fan of. I would steer you away from that, to be honest. You may not mind it, may not hate it, but I'm personally not a fan of those clicks, and I do love these. So number 9, if you want a Viper V3 Pro clone, consider this, but keep watching the video for my top one. And with that, we'll continue down the list to number 8, the IPI Float, a mouse that had to be mentioned in this video because when it dropped, it blew everyone's mind. We didn't think it could be real. Borgi didn't review it until he saw my review just to make sure this was a legitimate mouse that was even worth talking about, as I appropriately dropped the mouse. Those who know. This is a very interesting mouse, a unique shell design, except for that it's not unique because the Tack Shark has the R5 Ultra, which I can also recommend pretty strongly. This is just a $50 or much below $50 Final Mouse-ish clone. It's actually a little bit smaller, a little bit narrower than the Final Mouse Medium. It has either Kale White blades or arm-on 100Ms in the clicks, which I find to be pretty good, a little bit mushy, but overall for the price, pretty solid. And just honestly, the shape, the build integrity, and these nice ridged side buttons we've seen on a couple of their mice really brought this together for me at a very nice weight and a very cheap price to get into the sort of Final Mouse-ish shape game without breaking the bank. Coming in at number 7, we have the RAWM ER21 Pro. You may be surprised, there's a flippin' ergo on this list. If there had to be another one, it would be the Lamzu Paro. This is much more comfortably priced and a much more dead center sort of EC2 shape. This is a spectacular ergo mouse. The coating on the white and the black versions is a little bit grippier, but this blue color is just to die for. We have huge side buttons. They're far up on the mouse, but it is an ergo mouse. They're light and snappy. RAWM had the first good TTC optical implementation. They are heavier than arm-ons, but they're very tactile, still very spammable. Overall, a very comfortable shape, a very well implemented mouse from RAWM. It comes in at only $70. This is my current favorite ergo, a banger, and RAWM, honestly, as a company recently, has been a banger too. At number 6, we have the versions of the Incott G23 V2 and V2 Pro yet to be reviewed by me, coming soon. I'm not even sure I've released the short yet. I had to include a GPX clone, my presumed favorite, but maybe it's not, in the tier list upcoming. This comes in around $50 to $60 depending on where you get it. This initial one, the non-pro with the sick aesthetic, does not have hot swappable switches here, and the V2 Pro indeed does, even skates on those. I'll show you the hot swap capability in a future video. It is very easy for any mechanical switch. A lot of people were pining for this hot swappability swappability, and it's back in the Pro version. The aesthetic on these Incott mice is sick. It's a GPX clone. Their collab switches are awesome. They've got good skates, good build integrity. Scroll wheel's not too stiff. Overall, a very, very good and affordable GPX clone. Look for this review coming soon. At number 5, we have another mouse from RAWM, the Leviathan V4, also yet to be reviewed by me. It's going to take my slot as my favorite Viper V3 Pro clone, and I'll leave the reason for why that is to that video. It's more comfortable, extremely well implemented. It comes in around $80 to $90. The TTC V2 opticals in it, just as good as the ER21 Pro. Stellar build integrity, great stock skates, no complaints at all. Just overall a perfectly implemented, large side button, beautiful bright blue Viper V3 inspired mouse. One that I've been maining for the last week or so. I know it doesn't sound like a long time. I usually test mice on and off, but I use this in a ton of crab champions. It has felt absolutely stellar. At first, I wasn't sure if I like it. Now I love it. This is the first mouse in my top 5 of 2025. Now we're gonna get into some mice you may have seen in the AIM Adapt video that I did. We have the Epomaker CarbonX, a mouse you probably thought would suck. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, and I, for some reason, absolutely love this mouse. The texture of the carbon fiber shell, which is indeed from Kaisona, is absolutely amazing. It's the most satisfying texture I have ever felt on a mouse, and to that point, the on-run optical implementation is freaking fantastic. Very light, very spannable, still tactile, just to die for. Things that might bother people and why it's not a bit higher, it is a little bit front heavy. As you can see here, this empty shell, and depending on how your hand falls on the back of the shell, mine, it does not bother me, but these holes, they're quite large. That could be a hindrance to you. But beside that, very nice protruding side buttons here, a solid scroll wheel, and overall just an absolute banger of a mouse. I'd recommend you try out, coming in at around $70. We've made it into the top 3, and my favorite shape of 2025, not 2023, the Incott G23, this being the Pro Edition. Still loving the aesthetic here from Incott. Ignore these rando dot skates I have on the bottom. They're actually West Lab, not random. They're very nice. But this mouse, it's like a Viper V2 Pro shape, but it has more presence here, or a Viper V3 Pro with some more flair and less of the comfort grooves here. I main this mouse for the entirety of my time playing Battlefield 6, and it is awesome. You wouldn't think I'd like a mouse this big, but I actually absolutely love it. The way the entire shape is with the taper here on the sides, the back flare, and the just hump presence, it is the most comfortable mid to large size mouse that I've used in recent memory. I also like it more than the GPX shape. It's replaced both of those mice in rotation for me, Leviathan V4 notwithstanding. There was an issue where Incott's WebDriver went down, was not available, and I had an issue changing the polling rate on this, although the button here on the bottom did solve that. Thank you to the person who commented on the video. I'm a moron. It did work with this after a few tries. This is just a shape to die for. Their Incott collab switches feel very good. It's been interestingly not marketed a ton and does come in only around $50 to $60 on AliExpress, so that's about the only place you're going to be able to come by it. But if this is a shape that sounds appealing to you, highly recommend it. Number 3. At number 1 for me, the OP1 8K V2 and the OP1 4K wireless V2. This is my favorite shape, my forever main. At this point, you might as well get the V2, although the used V1 is still a great value as well. You do get the 3950 in the V2, a glass mode, the 20K frame mode if you would like that as well. Their stock skates are all right. I do prefer the large pads. I haven't switched them on this copy because I got it and haven't used it a ton. Nice back hump support, thin front, aim with the precision of a pencil shape. This is their updated version. I don't feel the cable, but I did want to try what it felt like wireless. The 8+ grams heavier is relatively noticeable in game, doesn't really bother me a ton, but if I had to pick, I'd still be going with this $90 new on Amazon 8K V2 wired. This comes in at $120, and the price on these is probably why it's not number 1. However, for $90, if you wanted to get into serious aim training or just get the top performing mouse on the market, in my opinion, this is still it. And some of you may not be surprised to see, at number 1, we have the MCHOSE L7 Ultra Plus or the Pro Plus. Either version of the L7 Plus is an absolute flippin' banger. The top budget mouse, the top mouse for me of the year of 2025. This thing is only $45 to $55, even less if you want to go digging on AliExpress perhaps. This is like a Sora V2 shape, and it is the best budget mouse I've ever tested. The coating is to die for. The side buttons, spammable, and don't sink into the shell. This still had the on-run opticals. The reason I would recommend the Pro is that there's no real reason to go to the Ultra unless you like a good colorway or want that $39.50, but either of these only like a $5 difference. You can't go wrong. The stock skates I'm a fan of. The build quality is on point. It may be the perfect budget mouse specifically for a claw grip, although depending on hand size, you could palm it. I guess you could even fingertip it. The MCHOSE L7 Ultra Plus. Also use code DAZ for a majority of these mice or the links in the description. This is my number 1 mouse of 2025, my top budget mouse, my top overall mouse. So categorically real quick, if you're looking for a mouse $50 or under, the bangers on the list were the L7 Pro or Ultra Plus, the Incott G23 or the IPI Float. Around 70 bucks, the ER21 Pro and the Epomaker CarbonX come into play, along with the MCHOSE K7 Ultra. And then of course, the Leviathan V4, OP1 8K, and last but not least, the WLMouse Beast X Pro all come in at $90+, this being the only mouse on the entire list over $100 outside of the OP1 4K V2 wireless. If you're asking which of these mice on the list is my favorite, my main is still the OP1 8K V2. That may never ever change, although if I'm looking for comfort these days, I'm playing between the Leviathan V4 or the Incott G23. And if you ask me to get one mouse to start your collection, to not spend a bunch of money and to not break the bank, it would be my number one top budget mouse in existence, the MCHOSE L7 Plus. This thing is nearly flawless. It's a shape I think is worth trying. Almost universally beloved, the Sora V2 shape. Hope you guys enjoyed my virtually top 10 mice of 2025. I'm debating doing top keyboards, top mouse pads, top switches, top companies. It all sounds like a lot of work. Let me know below in the comments what you think I should do next. Be sure to use my referral links and code DAZ to help support the channel. And that's about it for this video. Please subscribe and like if you enjoyed it. You can follow me on X at DazZack. Check out the Mousecast podcast as well as my peripheral Discord server. Still shocked that I put an ergo in this video. And with that, we'll see you.